So ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of my colleagues and the staff of the town of Oro Valley, welcome to the 18th annual State of the Town. Before we get going, I would like to once again recognize Raytheon President Dr. Taylor Lawrence for being our special guest today. Taylor, thank you so much for making the time. I would like to offer my sincere thanks to the Greater Oro Valley Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors, President and CEO Dave Perry, and each of the sponsors who made today's event possible. While I may be up here delivering the speech, it is our friends at the Chamber who make this event happen. And we are deeply grateful for their ongoing relationship. And as always, a big thank you to the El Conquistador at Hilton Resort. We have a new general manager since our last event last year. So if you haven't met him yet, a big welcome to General Manager Michael Platt. These have once again outdone themselves when it comes to hospitality and service. Some of you may know that we start working on this speech several weeks in advance. And I'll be honest, it's no easy task putting together a State of the Town address right before an election. But I realized that the message that I wanted to share with you today was both relevant and important, regardless of the outcome of the polls. I want to talk to you about the legacy of leadership we have developed here in Oro Valley, and how citizens should expect that type of leadership from all the elected officials, regardless of who holds that office. This kind of leadership is only achieved when elected officials understand that they can never look at things through a single lens. It is understandable that residents or a group of citizens with particular interests may have a single approach to issues, but elected officials must look at issues from all angles. I've stated previously that leadership is not about being popular. It's not about being courageous. Leadership is about making logical decisions, which may be unpopular due to emotion, and then being able to withstand criticism until such time success is achieved. As I stand before you today, I'm reflecting back on 8.5 years as your mayor, and the strategic decisions we as council made along the way, which have resulted in our success today. Together we have put the town in a position that looks beyond this moment into the future, so that we continue moving toward that goal of a successful, complete community. How does Oro Valley ensure that continuity of excellence? By continuing our legacy of leadership. So what is a legacy? A legacy is something that you create and then pass on to those who come after. This inherited gift isn't a mandate. Rather, it's a guidebook. It's a set of values. It's a list of best practices. It's years of interacting with the community and learning what's important to them, and then making decisions that will benefit the majority of the population. It's the way we make decisions, our thought process, our list of criteria, our relationships and our successes, which have taught us so much. It's understanding who we are now and being open to what we need to become. All of this and more culminates in the legacy of leadership. It culminates in becoming a community by design. Design doesn't happen by accident, and success doesn't happen by dumb luck. These things happen when we establish a vision and take deliberate actions together as a community to achieve that vision. Back in 2010, in my very first State of the Town address, I made some bold observations. I said, we have been too casual in what we do without deliberate action working towards an end goal. We need to change our mindset so that everything we do has a purpose to it. Every movement, every action, every thought. Only then, after we have rebuilt our systems and approach our roles with deliberate purpose, will we be able to achieve success consistently. I'm talking about systems that are applied to our ability to attract and retain quality employment. Systems that allow our residents to participate in their local government. Systems for communication. Systems for growth and development. And systems that allow for change in a changing environment. That was in 2010. Since then, every decision has been deliberate and focused on a shared mindset that we must be a complete community that meets the needs of all residents, from beginning of life to final days. My father taught me that there are only 4 steps to success. Have a goal, execute that goal, be determined, and persevere. It's important to note that the reason most people don't achieve success is not because they didn't have a goal or they didn't execute that goal. The reason most people fail is because they were not determined or they did not persevere. What is the difference between determination and perseverance? Determination is overcoming internal obstacles. Fear is often the biggest culprit in this category. Perseverance is related to external obstacles. It is staying the course. As an elected official, those obstacles can be political pressure, they can be financial, they can be public opinion, they can be resource shortages, time constraints. The list is endless. This is the category that most people fail because it's too easy to face an obstacle and give up. In the political world, perseverance is often the difference between merely holding a job title and being a true leader. Most of us understand that there will always be obstacles, and we make up excuses and reasons why we can't do something. All excuses are legitimate. You only need one. But successful leaders find a way around the obstacles. They understand the excuse or the reason as to why something can't get done, but they never allow themselves to use it. They keep moving forward. In many cases, long-term commitment and perseverance to that style of leadership is just now beginning to bear fruit. Sometimes you have to persevere and play the long game, knowing that your efforts today may not pay off for years. Let me give you a great example. 7 years ago, in my 2011 State of the Town address, I said the following words: long-term sustainability will depend on our ability to develop a broader constituency for the town. Annexation will provide numerous benefits to commercial and residential property owners, and it ensures that locally generated tax revenue benefits area residents and allows the town to plan for the efficient provision of services to the community. That was 7 years ago. Since then, we have been thoughtfully expanding our planning boundaries and identifying future annexation opportunities that would be within our community's best interest. In 2013, we successfully annexed the northwest corner of Ina and Oracle to include the Red Lion Inn and Tohono Chul Park, one of the top 10 best botanical gardens in the world, and we have begun the process of potentially annexing 885 acres of state land near Thames Green Road between Thornydale and Shannon. Ultimately, that decision will be up to the new mayor and council, but it's worth noting that the town of Oro Valley has been in discussions with the state land department for about 9 years regarding the Thames Green parcels. Annexation is a critical strategy for the long-term sustainability of the town. We are currently about 85% built out. So expanding our boundaries will allow us to continue healthy growth without reaching build-out. Annexation also ensures that whatever development eventually takes place on this land must be in conformance with our codes and our values. One of those values is open space. And since 2011, Oro Valley's environmentally sensitive land ordinance resulted in 432 acres of permanently conserved open space as part of its development process. This is 56% of the total acres for 12 new residential subdivisions, areas that were previously zoned for development. Another great example of the type of long-range leadership we have in Oro Valley is the town's management of its own water utility. Even though our population has grown substantially over the past 20 years, would you believe last year the water utility's annual groundwater production was 400 million gallons less than the amount of groundwater produced 20 years ago? This is due to the delivery of a portion of the town's Central Arizona Project water resource, utilization of reclaimed effluent for irrigation purposes, and consumer conservation. And it doesn't stop there. Beginning later this year, the water utility will commission its 4th CAP wheeling station near Oracle and Harding Roads. This infrastructure will save the Oracle Road commercial corridor, further reducing the town's reliance on the groundwater by 150 million gallons of water per year. Growth may be inevitable, but smart growth and managing our resources accordingly only happens when leaders have a shared vision, are deliberate in their actions, are determined, and they persevere. I talked quite a bit about growth in my 2013 State of the Town address, and back then I said, with or without our intervention, communities will grow. But how a community grows is dependent upon how we tend to its needs. There is no single right way. There's so much beyond our control. So it's imperative that we identify the things we can control and invest our time and resources in those areas to ensure the community has the best chance, not only for healthy growth, but also for survival. Fast forward to 2018. It may seem that Oro Valley is experiencing an explosion of growth right now, but if you look at our historical trends, that's not actually the case. Our growth spurt was pre-recession, and since then, we've steadily been recovering, but our overall rate of activity is on the lower end. In fact, 40% fewer homes are now being built when compared to pre-recession numbers. So why does it seem like there's so much development going on? That's because we are now seeing infill construction taking place along highly visible locations, such as the intersection of North First Avenue and East Tangerine Road. These infill areas have been previously passed over because they presented some challenges, whether it was difficult terrain, drainage issues, or even opposition by neighbors. However, land is becoming scarce in Oro Valley, so those parcels are back on the table for discussion. And the town has been working diligently with developers and neighbors to find workable solutions. The town's efforts to engage residents and discuss development review process are reflected by the 33 neighborhood meetings that took place just last year. All adjacent property owners for each proposal were invited to town-facilitated meetings. This level of community involvement resulted in specific changes to each development application. While the town's ordinances and planning efforts provide a framework for making tough decisions about where and what type of growth should and should not occur, public fields, new fencing and dugouts, and upgraded restrooms. Over at the Oro Valley Community Center, we implemented an energy efficiency project including new HVAC, lighting, a golf course pump station, and a pedestrian traffic signal. In the area of public safety, our Oro Valley Police Department continues its own legacy of excellence, helping to lead the charge both regionally and across the state to make distracted driving illegal. We've also begun to work on new police substation and evidence facility. Our public roadways and infrastructure, which continue to be the best in the region, also saw some significant upgrades this year. Projects of note include Lambert Lane Phase 2, which was completed on time and under budget. This project was funded by the People Association of Governments and performed by Granite Construction. It improves safety and visibility along Lambert Lane by lowering and widening the roadway to 4 lanes with raised medians, turn lanes, and multimodal enhancements. Several drainage projects were completed throughout town, including the Shadow Mountain Estates, new drainage conveyance improvements on Overlook Drive. And next Tuesday, along with the town of Marana and the RTA, we'll cut the ribbon on the recently completed phases 1 and 2 of the Tangerine Road Corridor project, which improves safety, access, and circulation along this critical 10-mile stretch of road that connects Oro Valley to I-10. Some of you may recall that last year's State of the Town address had a heavy emphasis on arts and culture in Oro Valley. And I'm proud to report that we continue to foster and grow our art scene. Last month, we cut the ribbon on a beautiful new art installation designed and built by students in front of the Oro Valley Community Center. The Summer Youth Art Project is led by the Southern Arizona Arts and Culture Alliance in partnership with the Town of Oro Valley and People Association of Governments. And we are very proud of this new addition to our public art collection. And next month, as part of National Art and Humanities Month, Oro Valley will be hosting its second annual Celebration of the Arts, a month-long celebration including free admission days at Tohono Chua Park and Children's Museum Oro Valley, and discounts with some of our arts and culture partners, including Western National Parks, Gaslight Music Hall, and many more. This really is a community-wide celebration, so be sure to visit our website for details. Also on last year's State of the Town, I talked about the ways Oro Valley has expanded its offerings and hiring practices to better support our veterans. I'm happy to tell you that our efforts have continued this year, as we had the honor of hosting the Wall That Heals, a replica of the Vietnam Memorial Wall. The event attracted more than 14,000 people and helped springboard Oro Valley to its official designation as a Purple Heart Town. All of these successes are the outcome of carefully balanced values, vision, and decision. That balance is achieved when your elected officials understand who we are now and remain open to who we need to become. This balance results in a complete community. Being complete or self-sustaining is only possible when you've got a healthy business community. Oro Valley has worked diligently to ensure our economic health with a growing list of restaurants and retail. Just this year, 33 new businesses opened their doors in Oro Valley, and another 55 home-based businesses applied for a business license. New restaurants include Filiberto's Mexican Food, China Valley Chinese, and the new Starbucks drive-thru location. And then there is Which Superior Sandwiches, which, no pun intended, is a very cool story. The owners, Andy and Katie Kasecki, are very familiar faces. Katie is the young woman who just sang our national anthem today, and Andy was an Oro Valley Parks and Recreation employee before he and his wife decided to get into the restaurant business. And we're so glad they chose to stay right here in the town of Oro Valley. New large business openings include Tucson Orthopedic Institute, Tucson Cactus and Koi, Simple View, and One AZ Credit Union, which is coming soon. Let me take a moment to talk about Simple View. In May of this year, Simple View moved its headquarters to Oro Valley. Simple View specializes in content management systems, web design, and digital marketing initiatives for destination marketing organizations like Visit Tucson and others across the globe. Their decision to expand in Oro Valley was based on a few factors. First of all, CEO Ryan George and several members of their senior management team either live in Oro Valley or grew up attending Oro Valley schools, so this is home. Ryan, however, shared with me that over the past 8 years, Oro Valley has done an excellent job building the kind of community where people want to live, work, and visit. But even more important was the fact that when Simple View was ready to move their headquarters, Oro Valley had the building and space they needed. And that is an important point as we look to attract even more tech employees, making sure we are providing the space they need and the quality of life that will ensure that they can draw top talent. Oro Valley is taking unprecedented steps to reach out to key stakeholders throughout the state and nation in order to grow the number and type of community employees. Our success is dependent upon strong partnerships with agencies and organizations that also support business attraction and expansion. Just in the past 2 months, our economic development team has met with several dozen businesses and industry CEOs and representatives of key economic development allies, including the Arizona Commerce Authority, the Arizona Technology Council, the Biosa Innovation Board, the Greater Oro Valley Chamber of Commerce, Pima and Pinal Counties, Sun Corridor, and the University of Arizona. These efforts are already bearing fruit by way of generating an unprecedented number of potential employment leads. Supporting our economic development efforts is our partner of more than 10 years, Visit Tucson. And this year, they have produced a fantastic video to help us continue to attract and recruit a talented workforce. Our friends over at Roche Tissue Diagnostics were kind enough to let us behind the curtain to feature a day in the life of their Oro Valley employees. You'll even get a peek inside the new Simple View location. Let's take a look. guys always do incredible work for the region. This video will be launched across multiple web and social media platforms and made available to our corporate businesses and regional partners to help attract new talent to Oro Valley. We really are in this together. Whether public, private, or nonprofit, our commitment is to help support and retain existing businesses and diversify and expand the local tax base. We are taking on the challenges and acting to fulfill promises made in the Your Voice, Our Future General Plan. This includes supporting core industries that affect technology, healthcare, bioscience, business services, clean manufacturing, and tourism. Sports tourism in particular continues to be a major focus for Oro Valley. As I mentioned last year, sports tourism is a $9 billion industry nationwide. These events bring thousands of athletes and guests into our hotels, restaurants, and shops, where their sales tax and vet tax dollars are invested right back into the town of Oro Valley. Two major Oro Valley sports events held in July represented a combined estimated regional economic impact of more than $379,000 and a total of 723 room nights. Those events included the Arizona Swimming Long Course Age Group State Championships, which were held at the Oro Valley Aquatic Center, attracting 585 athletes, plus their friends and families, and the U.S. Tennis Association Zone Team Championships held at our tennis court facilities, attracting 144 players, including Lindsay Davenport, who was a former #1 world tennis player. Our continued investment in sports tourism translates into financial resources to fund town services and amenities, which leads me to our overall financial position. The town of Oro Valley's financial health continues to be strong, as we expect to close out the 2017-18 fiscal year with an estimated $2.6 million surplus from fiscally responsible spending and strong sales tax collections. These surplus funds will be deposited into the town's capital fund savings account for future planned projects. Keep in mind, Oro Valley only has 4 primary sources of revenue in the absence of a property tax. And they are sales tax, utility tax, vet tax, and construction sales tax. Everything we have done over the past 8.5 years has been designed to enhance one of these 4 areas of revenue. We retain a very healthy 28.5% general fund reserve balance, a fund that has consistently been maintained at or above the town council policy of 25% minimum. As in previous years, we will finance some of the upcoming planned improvements through a tax-exempt municipal bond, which lets us capitalize on current rather than projected rising construction costs. This approach also ensures financial participation by future residents, not just current residents, as debt service payments will be made from sales tax, impact, and utility fees. Additionally, with our excellent AA- bond rating, we're expecting very low bond interest rates. And I never get tired of saying this. We have ended every fiscal year in the black for the past 7 years with revenues exceeding expenses. On top of that, the town of Oro Valley has been awarded the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting by the Government Finance Officers Association of the United States and Canada for its comprehensive annual financial report for 24th year in a row. All of this, from roadways to parks to public safety to delivery of water to your tap, is made possible by the men and women who serve this community each and every day. Council is responsible for setting policy and providing direction, but it is your town staff who actually make it happen. Successful leadership is only possible when you recruit and retain the best and brightest. And that's exactly what we've done here in Oro Valley. While council takes all the credit for your hard work, rest assured that your service is always noticed and always appreciated, especially by this council. On behalf of a grateful and proud mayor, thank you. If you're a town of Oro Valley employee, please stand and be recognized. for your service. Our talented staff is led by an impressive town manager who has been with us for just 1 year, and already in that time she has made a tremendous impact on our organization and community, boldly leading us in a positive direction. We are so fortunate to have her at the helm. I am confident that she will continue to provide strong, consistent, and forward-focused leadership as we enter a new season of change in Oro Valley. Mary Jacobs, would you please stand? Mary's latest efforts include the launch of the new internal process improvement initiative to help staff identify inefficiencies, avoid duplication, save time, and improve performance. The end goal is simple: to ensure we are providing the best possible service to our residents. Under Mary's direction is the town's executive leadership team. I have personally watched this group grow into the esteemed and highly respected leaders they are today. I am immensely proud to have served alongside you. Together we have built a house with a very strong foundation, a house that will stand the test of time and the inevitable change in leadership because you are that house. Collectively, you are stronger than any one individual. So as you move forward into this season of change, keep your house strong by surrounding yourself with talented staff and continue to lead in excellence. If you are a member of the executive leadership team, please stand. As you know, this is my 9th and final time delivering the State of the Town address as your mayor. And I want to let you know that it's been an honor for me every single year. As I wrap things up, I want to take a moment to thank some people who have made my time as mayor very special. First and foremost, I'd like to thank my family. My mom and dad are usually here, but my mom took a fall and recently had to have surgery, so they weren't able to be here. It's tough not having them here at this time. They are the ones who instilled in me at a very young age that it's my obligation to make my surroundings better than when I arrived. And that's exactly what I've been trying to do. Mom and Dad, thank you for giving me the drive to make a difference. To Stacy, Mason, Mara, McAllen, and my mother-in-law, Kathy, thank you for allowing me the privilege to serve this community. You have endured levels of criticism that no family of an elected official should ever have to endure. And you did it with grace and elegance. For that, I cannot thank you enough. You have all stood by me because you knew that I have always been passionate about serving this community, whether it was through Hiremath Family Dentistry, Southern Arizona Arts Cultural Alliance, or as mayor. None of these things could have been achieved without the love and support that you have shown me, even though sometimes came your personal sacrifice. I am blessed that I get to come home to you each and every day. Next. Telling you guys, killing me. I'd like to recognize my fellow esteemed regional elected officials, with whom I have had the privilege of working over the past 8.5 years. They are Mayor Bedoni, Chairman Edward Manuel, Mayor Tom Murphy, Mayor Jonathan Rothschild, Mayor Bob Tesla, Supervisor Ramon Valdez, and Vice Chair Peter Capicio. I respect each and every one of you for working together to make our region stronger. I know firsthand that each one of you sacrificed something in order to help Oro Valley become the success it is today. Collectively, I have never witnessed elected officials of other regions coming together to help each other so selflessly the way we have. I am proud to be associated with each one of you, Thank you for allowing me to work alongside you for the betterment of Pima County and Southern Arizona, but more importantly, thank you for your friendship. It means At this time, I'd like to ask my fellow council members to join me on stage, please. As they're making their way up to the stage, unfortunately, Councilmember Mary Snyder couldn't be here today, but she's been part of an integral part of this team, and she's very sorely missed today. As they're making their way up, I'd be very remiss in not thanking two individuals who are both my right hand for all the State of the Town addresses that I put on. Their Herculean efforts have to be rewarded. And I'd like to acknowledge Misty Nowak and Amanda Jacobs. Thank you. But it's no secret that Oro Valley has been on a meteoric rise for the past 8.5 years. This is because of the unified vision that we all share. Having a unified vision doesn't mean that we all agree on everything, but it does mean that our foundation for making decisions is based on the same philosophy. So I'll explain it this way. You're all familiar with the analogy of the glass being half full or half empty, right? But have you really given thought to how our perceptions of the glass often determine our disposition and approach to problems? People who see the glass as half empty often approach issues from a platform of pessimism. When you begin with a pessimistic mindset, you are almost guaranteed to be plagued by fear, paralysis, and a reluctance to think outside the box. On the other hand, those who see the glass as half full begin from a platform of optimism and appreciation because they are grateful that there's glass or that there's water in the glass. An optimistic mindset expands our vision and lets us see new possibilities and solutions to problems. That doesn't mean we haven't considered the concerns and challenges in front of us. What it does mean is optimistic people are not paralyzed by fear. The individuals you see on the stage have chosen to approach their service to this community from that mindset, which has enabled them to take Oro Valley to new heights. I feel confident in saying that Oro Valley has never, in its history, had such a unified council that has selflessly served its residents. While most elected officials run on single-issue items, these individuals ran with a simple goal of making life better for our residents. This is reflected in our great roads, public safety, parks and recreation, and having surplus budgets every year, all while ensuring there is something for everyone in our community. This is why we continue to receive accolades such as Safest City in Arizona, Best Places in Arizona to Raise Kids, and Arizona's Best Small City. Because of the legacy of leadership from Lou Waters, Joe Hornet, Rhonda Pena, Bill Rodman, Mary Snyder, and Steve Solomon, I am here to tell you that the state of Oro Valley has never been stronger. To my fellow council members and to each one of you here today, it has been the honor of my life serving as your mayor. Thank you.